Have you ever wondered why some people seem to build wealth so easily, while others struggle, even if they work just as hard? This is the question Robert Kiyosaki explores in his famous book, Find Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It's not just about money, it's about mindset, habits, and the way we view opportunities. Kiyosaki shares lessons he learned growing up with two father figures. His own biological father, the poor dad, highly educated but financially limited, and his friend's father, the rich dad, a man who never finished school but became wealthy through business and investing. The book matters because it teaches us that financial success is less about how much money you make and more about how you think about money, work, and assets. Let's explore these lessons chapter by chapter and see how small shifts in mindset can change your financial future. Chapter 1. The rich don't work for money. Most people spend their lives working for money, trading time for a paycheck. Robert Kiyosaki explains that this mindset keeps people trapped in what he calls the rat race. The rich, on the other hand, don't just work for money. They make money work for them. Kiyosaki shares a lesson he learned as a child. When he and his friend Mike asked Rich Dad how to become wealthy, Rich Dad didn't give them money. He gave them a job at one of his stores. The boys were paid very little. At first, Robert was frustrated. He felt like he was being cheated. But Rich Dad explained, most people work for money. I want you to learn how to spot opportunities instead. By experiencing this frustration, Robert learned the value of financial education over wages. The point is simple. Poor Dad taught him to study hard, get a good job, and rely on a paycheck. Rich Dad taught him that true wealth comes from learning how money works and building assets that generate income even when you're not working. The takeaway: don't just work for money, learn how to make money work for you. Chapter 2. Why teach financial literacy? Robert Kiyosaki explains that it's not how much money you earn that matters. It's how much you keep. Many people earn good salaries but remain poor because they don't understand how to manage money. Financial literacy, the ability to understand money, assets, and liabilities, is the foundation of wealth. He introduces a key lesson. The rich focus on building assets, while the poor and middle class often build liabilities, thinking they are assets. An asset puts money in your pocket. A liability takes money out. It sounds simple, but most people get it wrong. Think about Emma, a young professional who bought a big new car with a loan. She thought it was a sign of success, but each month the payments, insurance, and maintenance drained her paycheck. Instead of making her richer, the car made her poorer. Now compare that to when she invested in a small rental property. Each month, the rent paid by tenants added money to her pocket. This was a real asset. Kiyosaki stresses that schools don't teach these lessons. We learn math, science, and history, but not how to manage money. That's why many smart, educated people still struggle financially. Wealth grows when we understand the difference between assets and liabilities and focus on acquiring more assets. The takeaway: build your wealth by buying assets, not liabilities. Assets put money into your pocket. Liabilities take it out. Chapter 3. Mind Your Own Business. Robert Kiyosaki explains that most people spend their entire lives working to build other people's businesses. Employees build their employer's wealth. Homeowners build the bank's wealth by paying off mortgages. Consumers build big companies' wealth by constantly spending. Rich Dad's advice was simple: to mind your own business. It doesn't mean quit your job right away. It means focus on building your own assets, even while you work for someone else. Your real job is to strengthen your asset column. The things that generate income for you. Imagine David, an engineer who loved his job, but realized his paycheck alone wouldn't secure his future. Instead of only relying on promotions, he started a small side business, buying vending machines and placing them in local shops. At first it was just one machine, then 3, then 10. Soon, the income from his vending machines began to cover his monthly bills. By minding his own business, David built assets that freed him from depending only on his salary. Kiyosaki warns the middle class often confuse their profession with their business. For example, someone may say, I'm a doctor, but their real business isn't medicine. It's the investments and assets they build outside of their profession. The lesson is clear. Work your job, but never forget to mind your own business by building assets that create freedom. The takeaway: focus on building your own asset column, not just your employer's. Your business is your path to financial independence. Chapter 4. The History of Taxes and the Power of Corporations. See, Robert Kiyosaki explains that one of the biggest differences between the rich and everyone else is how they understand and use the rules of money. Most people see taxes as something unavoidable and permanent, but the rich see them as a game to be studied and managed. Historically, taxes were first introduced as a temporary measure, meant only to affect the wealthy. Over time, however, they expanded to the middle class, while the rich learned how to protect their wealth through corporations and legal structures. A corporation is not a mysterious thing. It's simply a legal entity that offers protections and advantages. The rich use corporations to reduce taxes, shield assets, and reinvest money before paying personal expenses. Meanwhile, employees are taxed on their income first, leaving them with less to spend or save. Think about John, a small business owner. When he earned money through his job, the government took taxes first, and he spent what was left. But when he set up a corporation for his side business, he could pay for things like travel, equipment, and training as business expenses before taxes were applied. This legal advantage meant he kept more of his money working for him. Kiyosaki's point is not about avoiding taxes, but about financial education. The rich play the money game with knowledge and rules that most people never learn in school. By understanding taxes and corporations, they keep and grow more of their wealth. The takeaway: learn how money really works, taxes, laws, and business structures, because knowledge gives you financial power. Chapter 5. The Rich Invent Money. In this chapter, Robert explains that one of the greatest strengths of wealthy people is their ability to see opportunities, where others only see obstacles. Poor and middle-class people often say, "I can't afford," but the rich ask, "How can I afford it?" This shift in mindset makes all the difference. Robert shares how financial intelligence is not about how much money you make, but how creative you are in finding ways to grow money. He emphasizes 4 main skills of financial intelligence. 1. The way counting. Counting numbers, standing numbers. 2. Investing dumbly, knowing how to grow money. 3. Markets of our understanding supply, demand, and trends. Bottom time using legal systems like taxes and corporations to protect and multiply wealth. The rich do not wait for money. They create opportunities. By taking calculated risks, learning from mistakes, and building assets. Fear of losing money is what keeps many people poor. Instead of fearing losses, Robert says to see them as learning opportunities. Key idea: money doesn't make you rich. Your ideas and creativity do. Short story. Example: Robert tells how he and his friends once found an opportunity where others only saw a problem. They bought old comic books cheaply and turned them into a small library for neighborhood kids, charging admission. This was their first taste of creating money out of ideas. Chapter 6. Work to Learn. Don't work for money. Long summary. In this chapter, Robert highlights a lesson many people misunderstand. The purpose of a job is not just to earn money, but to develop skills that will serve you in business and life. Most people focus only on climbing the corporate ladder and earning a paycheck. Rich Dad advised Robert that instead of working solely for money, he should work to learn marketing, sales, communication, investing, and leadership. These skills open doors to wealth far more than just a salary. Robert explains how he personally took jobs that paid less but taught him valuable skills. For example, he worked in sales even though he wasn't comfortable at first. That skill later helped him sell ideas, investments, and build businesses. The poor and middle class tend to specialize too much in one area. Doctor or engineer focusing only on their profession, while the rich become generalists, learning across multiple fields. The wider your skills, the more opportunities you can create. He emphasizes 3 main management skills for success. 1. Management of cash flow, handling money effectively. 2. Management of system siding and building efficient systems. 3. Management of people signed leading and inspiring others. Key idea: don't ask, "How much will I earn?" Instead ask, "What will I learn?" Short story example. Robert shares how a talented woman writer once asked him how to become a best-selling author. He told her, "Take a sales course." She was shocked and insulted because she thought her writing skill alone should bring her success. But Robert explained that the key difference between a good writer and a best-selling writer is the ability to sell. This story shows how learning additional skills, even outside your main field, can multiply your success. Chapter 7. Overcoming Obstacles Long Summary. In this chapter, Robert explains that even when people know about financial education and opportunities, most still don't achieve wealth. Why? Because obstacles block their path. He identifies 5 main obstacles that hold people back. 1. Fear civi. The fear of losing money stops people from taking risks. Rich people also lose money sometimes, but they learn from it and move forward. Poor people let fear paralyze them. 2. Cynicism, suain, doubts, and negative voices, either from within or from others, kill ambition. People say things like, that won't work, or the economy is bad, and never take action. 3. Laziness theory, not physical laziness, but mental laziness. People say I'm too busy, and avoid looking for new opportunities or building passive income streams. 4. Bad habits, small negative habits, like not saving or spending carelessly, destroy financial growth. Rich Dad taught Robert to build habits of saving, investing, and discipline. 5. Arrogance. Thinking you know everything prevents you from learning. The rich keep learning, the poor stop growing because of pride. Robert emphasizes that overcoming these obstacles is more important than having money to start with. The rich keep moving despite setbacks, while the poor stop at the first sign of failure. Short story example. Robert shares that when he and his friend Mike first started investing, they lost money in some deals. Most people around them said, see, investing is too risky. But instead of quitting, they studied their mistakes, adjusted their strategy, and moved on. Over time, their small losses taught them lessons that led to much bigger wins. This story shows that fear and failure are not the end. They are teachers. Key lesson. Wealth isn't just about knowledge. It's about facing fears, pushing past doubts, and building the discipline to act. Chapter 8. Getting Started Long Summary. In this chapter, Robert Kiyosaki explains that knowing what to do is one thing, but taking action is what creates wealth. He offers practical guidance for starting your journey toward financial independence. The key is to start small, but start now. Don't wait for perfect timing, big money, or complete knowledge. Wealth grows when you take consistent steps, even tiny ones. Robert introduces several tips to get started. Make a decision, Thorne. Decide to become financially educated and take responsibility for your own wealth. Choose daily actions. Focus on activities that increase financial knowledge and build assets. Find mentors and role models. Side relearning from those who have succeeded can accelerate your progress. Use your mind creatively. Signed when. Look for opportunities to make money or solve problems in your community or work. He emphasizes that the journey requires discipline, patience, and perseverance. But even small actions compound over time into big results. Short story example. Imagine Emma, a young office worker in Boston. She wanted to start investing but felt intimidated by the stock market. Instead of waiting for years to learn everything, she opened a small investment account and began with just $50 a month. At first, the gains were tiny, but over time she learned, adjusted, and added more investments. Years later, what started as a tiny, consistent habit had grown into a meaningful passive income stream. Key lesson, take small, consistent actions today. Your future self will thank you. Final thoughts, long summary. In the conclusion, Robert Kiyosaki wraps up the key lessons from the book. 1. Mindset matters more than money, Sami. Your beliefs about money shape your financial outcomes too. Financial education is essential. Schools rarely teach money skills. It's up to you to learn. 3. Assets grow wealth. Focus on buying and building assets, not liabilities. 4. Take action. 20 Knowledge alone won't create wealth. Consistent action is key. 5. Overcome fear and obstacles. Don't let fear, cynicism, or laziness prevent you from starting. He reminds readers that wealth is a journey, not a destination, and even small, consistent steps can lead to financial freedom over time. Short story example. Imagine Sarah, a young professional in Los Angeles. She had no experience with investing, but decided to apply the lessons from Rich Dad, Poor Dad. She started by saving a small portion of her income, reading books about money, and building a small rental property portfolio. Years later, Sarah realized that her financial situation had transformed, not because of a huge paycheck, but because of small, consistent actions and a shift in mindset. Key lesson: financial freedom comes from knowledge, mindset, and consistent action. Start today, and your future self will thank you. So, what is one small action you can take today to start building your financial future? Remember, even tiny steps, saving a little, learning something new about money, or investing wisely, can grow into lasting wealth over time. If you enjoyed this summary and want more practical lessons from the world's best books, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. We break down complex ideas into calm, easy to follow summaries so you can learn faster, grow smarter, and apply these lessons in real life. Don't wait, hit that subscribe button and join our community of lifelong learners today.